Coming up next on Parent Connection, a conversation with representatives of the Assistance League of the Chesapeake. Welcome to Parent Connection. Today our guests are Marie Bossie and Lyn Hopkins from the Assistance League of the Chesapeake. Thank you both for joining us today.
Thank you for having us.
Yes. So first of all, tell our guests a little bit about yourselves.
Well, again, my name is Marie Bossie, and I have lived in Annapolis area for the last 18 years, originally from New England, Boston, where I went to nursing school, was practicing nurse for about 50 years, and then when I retired, I got involved in Assistance League.
Wonderful.
And I've lived in Annapolis for about 11 years, and originally from South Africa 22 years ago. We're now citizens of this wonderful country. And I met someone from Assistance League the first week we lived in Annapolis, and they were just so warm and welcoming and friendly, and I've been involved ever since.
Well, tell us a little bit about what is the Assistance League for those people who don't know anything about your organization.
Well, very basically, we're a group of volunteers who want to be and are friends to the community. So we are here to just meet needs. We like to see our tagline is transforming lives and strengthening communities. And we just are available in areas like the schools as we identify needs, to try and meet those needs.
And how did you get started, the Assistance League, in this area? Because I know it hasn't always been in Annapolis, or the Annapolis area.
Right. Well, Assistance League is actually 120 years old in the country. But in Annapolis, it was started in 2001 when two ladies relocated from California, and they'd been involved in the Assistance League chapter there, and they decided it would be great to start one here. And so they just started, just the two of them, and slowly built over the years.
So, Marie, how did you get involved in the Assistance League? How did you find out about it, I guess?
Well, several of my neighbors were involved, and when I was getting ready to retire about 9 years ago, they invited me to a meeting, and I went, and I was just really impressed with the members, who were all volunteers from all walks of life, and what they were doing in the programs, and so I got involved.
Well, can you tell us what programs you have in our schools, in Anne Arundel County Public Schools?
Sure. Our signature program is called Operation School Bell, and that is a program that the national organization believes that every chapter should have. Within that Operation School Bell, we have literacy programs, which consist of tutors, guest readers, we have teacher assistants, we have pen pal program, and our biggest program, obviously, is our uniform program, our Kids in Need.
Well, I know for us that I think you were my first contact with the
Absolutely.
Assistance League, and that is something that the school system has such a need in certain schools specifically, have large need for, because we love the idea of uniforms, and it is actually a little cheaper for families, but some families just cannot afford the uniforms, and we really never had a go-to organization that we could depend on to provide uniforms until the Assistance League. How many schools did you start in?
We started in one, in Georgetown East. And from there we went to Mead Heights Elementary. And now we're doing 6 schools, 6 elementary schools and a middle school. So we've really grown.
Well, can you tell us a little bit more detail about all of the programs that you run?
Sure. Our Operation School Bell literacy part, we have a guest reader program, and that involves our members committing to, like, once a month, or some of our members actually go to the classrooms once a week or once every other week, and it sort of gives the teachers a break, and they gather and they read books to the students, and the members love that, and the students do too. And then we have some tutors who go in and help the students with math or English or social studies or whatever. And then we have several of our members who go in and they work with the ESL kids. English second language, and so that's been a big blessing to some of the schools. We also have started a pen pal program over the last 4 years or so, and so we look for Title I schools in other states, and we've been fortunate within our membership to find other schools who are willing and interested in doing that. And so our members go in and meet with fifth graders, and they do letters and then get mailed back and forth, and it's just great. They learn about kids from other places, right?
Yeah. And they've had contact with other schools as far as India. They had in Nepal, India, they were communicating with children their age, and various states, Texas, California, Virginia, so it's been great fun, the Pen Pal program.
Well, that's good, and it's nice if the teacher has someone who's already working on those relationships and working on finding the pen pals, because I think that's probably one of the most timely things to do.
It is.
And getting all that done. When you said pen pal, I really thought you meant members were writing to the students, so that's exciting to find out that it's actually student to student.
We did the fifth graders, and then we tried the third graders, but that didn't work as well. So we're sticking with the fifth graders, and they just love it, you know.
Right. I think they're probably mature enough to really think the questions they want to ask and kind of find out things like about where they live. I love the idea of the India ones, because then they're learning the culture and things that they do in school that are so different than ours, I'm sure.
Absolutely, yeah. And that was kind of a fluke kind of connection, because one of our members went to some educational meeting and happened to sit at a table with a gal who was administrator of one of the schools in Nepal.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yes, I mean, that's it. The networking, we all know how it works. What about, you have something with puppets.
Oh,
What's the puppet?
We're really excited about that. You know, we all know that bullying is a huge problem in schools. In fact, in the 1990s, research showed that 12 out of 15 of school shooters were bullied in their background. And with bullying, everyone suffers or has some kind of result in their lives. The person bullied, the ones watching, and the one who does it, who obviously has guilt when they mature later. And so we really, really feel the importance of our puppet program, which is called Kids on the Block. We have these huge, wonderful puppets with big flappy mouths that are real characters, and they teach children about bullying and the results of bullying, and in a way that the children can identify with, because it's not an adult lecturing them.
Right.
And it's really successful. We've been to a lot of schools with that.
Well, I know one of the good things about everything that you've talked about so far is it is all free. There is no cost to the school. You know, so that makes it so appealing, certainly for schools that are always, you know, tight for money. But how do you fund all of these different activities that you do?
We have the members, and we have grants that we apply for, which we've successfully received. Donors are a huge part of our funding, and we're always open to people who would be willing to donate to our work. And then we have individual members who get initiatives of their own. There was a Savannah Park community group that had a fundraising dinner, and just decided that we would be the beneficiary of that.
Oh, that's wonderful.
It's all sorts of things that we just are open to. This year, our new initiative was crowdfunding, and through social media and, you know, emailing our contacts and friends, we were able to compensate for a grant for which we were no longer eligible this year. We will be in, you know, future years, but we had to find another way to raise that money, and the crowdfunding was fantastic. So that was something we worked hard to get our arms around too.
Well, I know it's, as a nonprofit, you're always looking for funding and anything unique that you can come up with. Tell me a little bit more about, is it the KIN uniform program? What does?
Correct. Our uniform program started, you know, just with one school, and then we've sort of progressed over the years. But our uniform program is for Title I schools, and it's really up to the counselors and the teachers to identify the children that will get them. And then we go in, our members go in, and we measure the students, and then probably within 3 to 4 weeks, then we pack all the uniform packages from our inventory, and then we distribute them from the warehouse, actually, from Anne Arundel County. And so the uniform consists of khaki pants and navy blue tops, and they get a navy blue sweatshirt, and they get underwear, and they get socks, and then they get a bag of toiletries. And the toiletries consist of a toothbrush, a toothpaste, soap, conditioner, and shampoo. And that's been our biggest challenge as the program keeps growing.
Right.
When we started, I think our first year we gave 120 uniforms out, and this year past we just gave out 2,500 uniforms. So, but the dentists in Anne Arundel County have just been so supportive in donating toothbrushes and toothpaste, and then of course our members, we really rely on them
Right.
to collect and get us the rest of the toiletries.
Well, I do know, because I have been involved in the uniform program somewhat with you, you got so large, you used to pack from a member's garage or basement, didn't you?
We did.
And then we gave you a little space in the warehouse, and now the Assistance League
lot
is
of space.
a little more space in every year, and it's a wonderful thing, really, that you've grown so much that you had to keep expanding, but it's like you're part of our warehouse now. They know all of your volunteers, and you have your own little area there, but 2,500 uniforms is massive to our county, and to those students whose parents cannot afford a new uniform. And obviously it's just like school supplies. You want to come to school looking like all your friends, and you want that nice fresh uniform at the beginning of the year.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we've had we get notes sometimes during the year or after the year is over, and I remember one little note from a grandparent who had just been given responsibility for 3 grandchildren, and and she was trying to make ends meet. She was over 65, so she couldn't work, and she sent us notes thanking us for the uniforms that we had provided to her grandchildren, and saying that while she couldn't help us with money, that if we ever needed a cake for any occasion, she would be willing to make a cake for us. So it's that kind of thing. And once we had a little girl, and one of the members asked her if she wanted to take her sweatshirt out of the package and the khaki pants, and she said, "Oh no, I've never had anything new before. I want to show my mom. This is all new, and it's all for me." And so it's those kinds of things that keep us going,
Right. I think sometimes in Anne Arundel County, because we are, a county of the haves and have-nots, and we are a relatively wealthy, considered at least a wealthy county, that some people just do not know until they start working with the community of the great need, that we really do have pockets of great need in our county. And certainly, I know the program has expanded so much, but I know that every school would want to be a part of it if they could, because that sometimes you just don't know where to go to get those resources. And then I think the counselors do a magnificent job in identifying those students that that need them. And at the end of every year, we even give them a surplus. We give them uniforms to put in their emergency bin, so that come September when school starts, they'll be ready, because there will be some children who will come without a uniform. And so hopefully they can use those until we can get in there and measure the kids and give them their uniforms.
And speaking of measuring, Marie has this process down to a fine art, because you can imagine 2,500, and each is specifically for a child with that child's measurements. And so when we go to the school to measure, we have a production line. When we do the packing, Marie has this production line, and it really works so efficiently. And although it's a lot of uniforms, we've got it working.
Well, I know the very first time I ever talked to Marie, and she said, "No, we have to come out and measure." And I'm like, couldn't you just get the sizes? But that wasn't the idea. It was that you were going to measure to make sure it was exactly what that child needed.
Right.
And that's a lot of time and a lot of dedication, but it really does matter, because when the children get those uniforms, they fit them. There's no question of like, oh, I said an 8, but really he's between a 7 and an 8 or an 8. And it really has made a huge difference, I know, in the students that are getting them feeling like there's nothing else. Their parents are not parents who are going to be able to go out and pay to have alterations done. So it's really important to them. So that I think that's a big part of it. But I know I was just blown away when I heard the same thing. You're going to go out and measure every children, and well, how's that going to work? Because we pull them out of the classroom, but it works because of the methodology, I guess, that you put in. It really works smoothly. I've never had a complaint from a school about the measuring process or anything. All we ever hear back is very, very positive feedback about how wonderful it was to be able to get this for their students.
And each child gets this little package with their name on it, and their complete uniform in it, and their little toiletry bag inside. So it's really special.
That's neat too. That's like an extra bonus that you give, which is really sweet. And I know, because I've known schools that have called, and of course then I've called you all and said, there's really issues with the heat here. Can you get us some extra sweatshirts? We've done that a couple of times, and always you all have come through for us and said, let me see what I can do, is always what I hear, and it always works out. So we just so appreciate that, because there's just not places we can just call. We can't call Target and say, oh, we just need you to, could you get me about 10, 20 sweatshirts? You know, that's, they're retail, they just can't do those kinds of things. So it really is so important to us. But for people who are watching, or the community, how are ways that we could help, or community members could help? What could they do if they wanted to assist you, just with the programs, or help you?
Well, the wonderful thing about our volunteer organization is just that we are all absolutely volunteers. There's no salaries paid or anything, so we depend on people coming forward and offering their help. And so we're always open to new members, new willing hands. We have a website which I'll share with you, and people can go there and get our contact details. They can send us a message from the website. And Marie has teams of ladies, one for measuring, one for packing, and various other things. And we always need people for various teams, even for the other activities we have, Kids on the Block and pen pals and those. There's always a place for anyone, whatever their strength is and their taste is for being involved.
Well, if the public wanted more information, I guess they would go to the website. What would they do? Is that?
Yeah, the website is alchesapeake.org, for Assistance League Chesapeake, but it's alchesapeake.org.
Well, we've talked about your programs that you do specific to the school system, which are so wonderful, from the puppets to the other thing with donating books. I just happen to know because
you participated.
I participated many times with that, but you do book drives as well. And then you give lots of those students who are getting new uniforms within that school year, you're giving that school books as well.
That's correct. At the end of the school year, right now we have 3 schools that we are providing a book to each student at the end of the school year, so that they can read over the summer and be ready, hopefully, for school and in the fall. And that program has really grown. Now, those are new books. And then we also have our Legacy for Literacy, which is, and also to Make a Difference Day, which is collecting books that are slightly used or new. And then we donate those not only to schools, but we donate them to homeless shelters and the Boys and Girls Club. We've donated some to Jessup Female Correctional Institute. And so when their kids go to visit, they can read to their kids. And so we've collected probably upwards of 1,500 to 2,000 books each year that we've done this program. And that's
I know. We participate in that. And we're always filling Marie's car with all of these books and things like that. One of the things, when I went to a meeting just to talk about the program, for the school system with you all. And I was surprised you have other programs going on too.
Correct.
Within the community. What are some of those things?
Well, we have a partnership with Baltimore Washington National Medical Center, and we actually have support Stork's Nest, which is for women at risk. And we hold a baby shower every year in December, and we collect probably about $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 worth of baby items, and then we donate it to Stork's Nest.
And they have a little store there, like a little shop, and all the things that our members bring for the shower stock the walls and the shelves in the shop. And so when these expectant moms do what they're supposed to do, they get points, and they can go to the shop with their points and select items for their babies or themselves, and pay with their points. So it's a wonderful system for helping everyone.
Oh, that's wonderful. I didn't know. I just, I don't think, I guess I thought about how the things were then distributed to the families. Right. But I like that idea that they can shop themselves, so they can look at what they need and what's specific to their child. Right. I'm sure that makes them feel really good because they're picking out something very personal to them and their child.
Correct.
Now, do you still do, there used to be, you had groups that were doing singing in nursing homes.
Yes.
Do you do that still?
We do.
Yes,
in fact, Lyn is one of our piano players.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
And it's great fun. We feel we enjoy it more than anyone else. We go to various assisted living homes, I think 4 or 5, and on a seasonal basis. So we'll do a Valentine's sing-along for all of them, and then we'll do a patriotic sing-along later in the year, and through the year we do several. And it's just so rewarding. We know that when one gets to later years and maybe their minds are not what they used to be, music is an incredible encouragement and changes moods and all sorts of things. And we can see it before our eyes. We have a real, honky-tonk sing-along, and we have a drummer, Bonnie plays drums, and we have piano, and everyone's tapping their feet, and they're all oldie songs, songs that they would be familiar with.
Right.
From the 50s and 60s maybe, and even before.
Before that.
And everyone just loves it, and so it's just so rewarding, and they, all come up to us afterwards and love reminiscing, and so it's a wonderful time, and we really enjoy that activity.
Well, I'm sure they look forward to you coming too, because that is something to brighten their day. And like you said, that is a way for us to connect through music and bring us back to, some wonderful memories from the past.
Absolutely. And actually, our sing-alongs are interactive, so we want the residents to participate. So we don't go there to perform.
No.
We go there to have them sing along, and it's really great, and especially on the patriotic nights, because then the men are just all up there standing and singing.
Yes,
and,
it's wonderful.
And on the other days they're kind of sit in the background, but.
Well, tell me a little bit. You're doing so much. It's really amazing, and I get to see a lot of it every day. But tell me, how do you fund all of these things? What are some of your fundraisers that you actually hold that really are successful, that people would maybe want to participate in?
We have a bunch of restaurants that have, and actually clothing stores like Talbot's, that have agreed to give us a percentage of their takings on a certain day or for a certain meal or in a certain time frame. And that's wonderful because it all adds up, And so we just tell our members, you're probably going to eat out this week anyway, go and eat at this place and tell your friends. And I think they have to mention our name or sometimes hand in a piece of paper when they're there. And it just adds so much to what we do. So it's fantastic.
And that information is always on our website and our Facebook page. So if people in the community were interested, they could certainly track it there.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you still do, I know you used to do your silent, your
big
events
auction.
with the auction and all.
No.
We felt that the juice wasn't worth the juice wasn't worth the squeeze for that one.
We did it probably for about 9 years, and then you sort of have burnout and you have to decide what are we going to do.
Right.
And at somewhere there, we had a couple of our members who were interested in doing grant applications, and that has just been phenomenal for us. And of course, Maryland Live supported us the first 3 years, and so that was phenomenal. And so hopefully, we'll get to go back to them. But we are always looking for grants to, apply for, and donations from the community.
Well, I think
goes
that's
without saying.
To me, it seems like that might be why you're so successful, because you do reevaluate the fundraising on a regular basis, because we all get kind of in a rut, and I know in organizations that I'm in do the same thing, but that's really telling when you feel that, no, we're doing all of this work, but really the money isn't there, so let's look at grant writing or whatever, wherever the money really is, because to grow from 150 uniforms to 2,500 in 1 year, plus books, plus toiletries, plus the puppet shows, that's just things for the school system. I mean, it's truly amazing, and we just are in awe of all that you do for our schools.
Right. Well, and I think the uniform program probably wouldn't be as successful from a financial perspective if it really wasn't for our partnership with Old Navy. They have just been tremendous to us, and we probably overall we get all of our khaki pants and our shirts from Old Navy, and they have just been phenomenal in what they've been able to provide to us. So, so from a financial perspective, we probably would be only doing half of what we do if it wasn't for our partnership.
But that is that. Like you said, partnerships and relationships, that is what makes everything work.
Absolutely.
It's the same with, it's grown at the schools without any resistance, because once the Assistance League volunteers came in, people knew, oh, okay, they know what they're doing, they're going to be efficient, they're wonderful with our students, so people really wanted you to come back and come back again, because you did form relationships, which is so important.
Yeah, and I think the principals and the counselors have just been phenomenal in terms of supporting our programs and working with us, because if it wasn't for them, I'm not sure how we would get this done, but it's definitely been a partnership both ways. And one of our other programs is Homeless Resource Day, which we support through the county, and that's a huge program.
It sure is.
And we collect for our members. We collect blankets and clothing and sweatshirts and pants and stuff. So, we do a lot of work with Homeless Resource Day too. In terms of
wonderful,
books.
right? Well, I really, really appreciate both of you coming here today and sharing lots of this information about the Assistance League. I really hope that some of our viewers will participate and want to become part of the group. It's sounds like a fun, wonderful group to be a part of, and you're doing so much for our community and for Anne Arundel County. So we truly appreciate both of you being here today.
Well, thank you so much for having us. And any retiring teachers who would like to join us, we certainly would love to have them.
Absolutely.
Wonderful. Thank you again.
Thank you.
And thank you. Until next time.
Today I come to you with exciting news about school meals. School meals offer students a healthy school breakfast and lunch. Every day, students are offered unlimited choices of fresh fruits and vegetables. Students are encouraged to select up to 2 cups of fresh produce each day at lunch from our unique salad bars. You may also monitor your child's school meals online at My Payments Plus. This is a convenient tool we offer to all parents to make managing your school meal accounts a simple process. To learn more about My Payments Plus, simply visit www.mypaymentsplus.com or call 877-237-0946. Each year, families have the ability to apply for free or reduced price meals. The application to apply is online. Parents, you may log on to applyformeals.aacps.org. The process is fast, easy, convenient, and it's accessible from any computer. Remember, if you received meal benefits last year, you must complete a new application each school year. Thank you for this opportunity to provide you this valuable information pertaining to school meals. School meals fuel your child's brain and body for academic excellence. If you have any questions regarding the healthy school meals offered, please contact me at 410-222-5900.